Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief. We will go ahead and time is 11 o'clock. Is that stuck or will it move? Anyway, roll call. We have full quorum. Commissioner Adam is here, Commissioner Maryboy and myself, and we have our administrator here, so we'll go ahead and go to the next item, which is opening prayer. Anyone? You volunteer? Oh, you're looking at me, okay. All right.
Dear Lord, I want to thank you for giving us another day. It's a gift. And I want to thank you for our commissioners that serve and all of our important people that represent our local community in San Juan County. Thank you for everything that we have. We're very grateful and look forward to another day and making sure that we are most productive every day and that we look forward with a positive attitude and hopefully be able to accomplish everything that will make our lives in our community better. Amen.
Excellent.
Okay.
Amen.
Thank you. Next would be approval of agenda. The reading, Mr. McDonald.
Okay, today on your agenda, let me pull this. We've got under consent agenda items, you've got the approval of the October 19th, 2021 commission meeting minutes, approval of the check registers for October 16th through October 29th, 2021. Item number 3, ratification and continuation of the Visa View Destination Insight Service Subscription Agreement 2021 through 2022 program. Item number 4, consideration and approval of small purchase orders for October 19th through November 1st. Consideration and approval of the appointment of Zach Johnson to San Juan County Noxious Weed Board. Item number 6, consideration. So under recognition, presentation, and informational items, we have a consideration and direction to William Cooper, the San Juan County redistricting map option for the county commission voting district and the school board member voting districts. That'll be presented by William Cooper. Item number 7, under business action, you have consideration and approval of a hazard mitigation grant program match letter. This will be presented by Tammy. Item 8, consideration and approval of the Green Our Planet hydroponics grant. This will be given by Nicole. Item number 9, consideration and approval of a contract between San Juan County and Mom's Mills, will be presented by Tammy. Under 10, you got consideration and approval of suggestions for the opinion editorial on Bears Ears National Monument. This will be presented by Commissioner Maryboy. Item 11, consideration and approval of a purchase of a Meals on Wheels vehicle. Item 12, consideration and approval of data across sectors for health grant application. And those will both be given by Tammy. On item 13, consideration and approval of the notice of award and intent to negotiate a contract with the Appraisers, Inc. to perform appraisal services in San Juan County. I'll present that. Under Board of, so we would need you to make a motion, convene as a Board of Equalization to consider property tax adjustments on parcels needing adjustments received after the Board of Adjustment deadline. We've got Rick Meyer, our county assessor, that will present that. The last item, before the last item, you got an executive session where we need to convene to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation. Under the last item is your commission reports, and then the adjournment after that. That, commissioners, is your agenda for today.
I hear a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion made, second. Any discussion or comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yep, aye.
Aye also. Three in favor and opposed, 0. Motion carried. Go to the public comment. Mr. McDonald, do you have any lineup?
Let's see. Let me grab that real fast. Okay, we do have a list here for public comments. For those members in the audience, just as a reminder, if you do want to give a public comment here, please sign up on this sign up sheet. Kind of some rules just to lay the groundwork. As a reminder, each of you will be given 3 minutes to give your public comment. We'll be timing you on that. Try to avoid repetitive public comments if possible. There's not a lot here that would give that. And so the just as a reminder also to be courteous and kind in your comments, realizing that, you know, this is a public body, public forum. We don't have any deputies in here to escort you out, but that's why we ask that you be courteous and kind in your comments. Avoid any swear words, raising voices, those type of things, throwing objects. Definitely be super appreciated. Anything about BYU, I guess, or something like that. For those of you that are online wishing to make a public comment, you can be noticed on there by raising your hand. There's a raise your hand option. If you click by your name, there should be a menu bar or a toolbar there that'll allow you to raise your hand, and we can recognize you in succession on there by raising your hand. If you're unable to find that function on there, we will call for those of you that were unable to raise your hand to unmute yourself, and then we'll just take you one at a time as we proceed. Online, if it gets out of hand and you start swearing or whatever, we have that capability to mute you. Yeah. Say no, that's not, so that's a good word. Anyway, with that, we will proceed here with those here in the audience. Our first one that we have listed here is Kim Henderson.
Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to make comments. If I can find my comments. I'd like to comment on agenda item 10, the editorial for the Bears Ears, written by, I believe it's Anna Peterson. I believe she's from Durango. This is an op-ed thanking President Biden and Secretary Haaland for restoration of the Bears Ears. First of all, I feel like the commission in the last meeting already approved letters of gratitude for the increase of the monument. So I feel like that would be repetitive. And that was despite public opposition. I want to remind you of that as well. There's a couple of things that I find concerning about this op-ed. And about paragraph 6, it states that over 150 elected officials from across the West, including Utah mayors, city council members, and commissioners, joined the support for the restoration. Now, I think it's important to note that out of that 150, I only was able to count 141, number one. Number two, only 23 elected officials from Utah have signed on to this. Only 4 out of the 20 elected officials within the cities in San Juan County. Only 4 out of the 20 elected officials, to my knowledge, agree with this. So I think that's important to take into consideration as well. I'm on the city council for Monticello. I know that as an elected official, I feel like if this is something that is voted for and passed, I feel like that you are taking it upon yourselves as a commission to speak for elected officials in San Juan County, including the cities. I don't think that that's appropriate, especially considering the fact that we disagree on the issues. I feel, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I feel like the monument designation is not a protection for the public lands. I don't feel like it's protected anymore. I feel like it's just further exploited the land. Here in Monticello in the last couple years, up at Lloyd's Lake, we have seen a huge increase of visitation. And with that visitation has brought a huge increase of garbage, vandalism, and our outhouses are constantly full. And I would say probably 95% of that stuff is not from local use. Monticello is a small city with small resources. We are not able to manage and don't have the resources to manage the influx in visitation that has come along with the promotion of the monument. I think it's really important that you remember that as well. It's been extremely difficult for us to be able to manage that. I feel like if the county truly cares about protection of lands, you should be advocating for management of funding, or funding for management. And that's probably the only thing I agree with in that letter is asking for funding. But I don't think that you need to, again, duplicate your things for that. I feel like you need to be advocating for funding for cities in particular, closest to the monument designation that are affected closely and closest, that puts a strain on our resources. The op-ed does not reflect the majority of your constituents, including your fellow elected officials. Again, I think that's very important to remember, and I respectfully ask that you do not vote in favor for this. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Next on here, we got Ron Skinner. The honorable.
Well, I don't know about that. Thank you for allowing me the time to talk about item 10 on this. And to start off with, I would ask each one of the commissioners to please remember that you and I, as a member of the City Council, were elected to uphold all of the citizens in San Juan County. And I'll go over that a little bit. I have a couple questions. Think about this. Why are you letting a person, a non-taxpayer of even, or a non-resident of San Juan County or Utah County to influence this over this letter? Second is, again, we're going to share the burden of the cost of this. Who's going to pay for this? It's going to be the taxpayers of San Juan County for the EMS, hospital, rescue. Gentlemen, as I look at this letter, it's very interesting to me to see how someone from another state is pushing this letter to promote the Bears Ears. I think enough's been done to promote it. And how the letter, it was not mentioned in the letter, the city of Monticello, the city of Blanding, or the leaders around the Grand Staircase monument. They were not even mentioned on how the feeling of the citizens were. Let's go to the letter just a minute. First, in the first paragraph, it says, San Juan County voices a voice joining Moab, Grand County, and Bluff. Again, there was nothing in there about Blanding, Monticello, or the Grand Staircase. In the next part, it says our communities. And again, I'm not going to go over that, but it doesn't say anything about 3 other places. And we are lucky to live here, which I agree with, and proud to serve our neighbors as elected officials. Really? It seems like it's all about you that wrote the letter. In there it talks about Utah adjacent to the National Bears Ears Monument. Again, where are Monticello, and I'll get into this in a minute, Blanding, or even the people in Grand Staircase. It talks down there a little bit about protection. I believe that our great President Trump looked at this whole situation. He was looking at the protection. He sent the Secretary of Interior down here and met with everybody, where the new Secretary of Interior come down to advise of the administrative decision. She didn't even come to Monticello to talk about this, where the prior Secretary of the Interior under President Trump had a meeting in Monticello to look at the whole thing. And when it talks about protections, have you been to Lowry, where the government is supposed to look at that lately? It's terrible. I just don't want to see that happen here. And with this letter, that just infuriates me that it could. I'm going to go on down, and Councilperson Henderson talked about this a little bit, about the 150 local names, and I just looked at them, and I was saddened to see some of the people that put their names in there. Most of them were from out of state. I think some of those elected officials should look at their problems in their own state and work on them and fix them instead of fixing our problems or sticking our nose in our business.
That's time right there.
That's 3?
That's 3.
Oh, darn.
I know.
In closing, I'd like to say I wish you'd think about this, commissioners, on signing this letter. And I could go on, but I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next up we have Cheryl Bowers.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mac and Mr. Clerk, Auditor. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Lyman Duncan, that's right. Thank you.
Have all our name tags inside.
So I have 2 issues. I want to quickly just, since I have 2 issues, I want to quickly just add my agreement with Mr. Skinner and Mrs. Henderson that I ask that you not approve signing your names to this op-ed, because as an elected official in Blanding, you do not represent my position, and I don't want it represented that I, as a city council member, or even appear that I represent the position that I appreciate an increase to the monument. So I would ask you not to approve that, to approve signing the op-ed as well. I need to read a letter I'd like to read a letter sent by the city of Blanding. I think that hopefully you got a copy of it. But I think it's important enough to read into the minutes. Hopefully I can get this in 3 minutes. It says, Dear Commissioners, in 2018, a court order imposed San Juan County Commission district boundaries that unnecessarily divided the community of Blanding, effectively eliminating our voice as a community of interest in choosing our representatives on county commission. And of course, this is in regards to the redistricting that's occurring. Blanding is the largest and most diverse municipality in San Juan County, with a sizable native population in and around the city who are of voting age. It is by every definition a community of interest that includes not only the unincorporated area of Blanding, but also the immediately surrounding area, of much of which is included in Blanding City's annexation boundaries. Communities of interest are legally and traditionally protected intact unless splitting them is a requirement of balancing district populations. Every other community of interest in San Juan County was protected, and Blanding was split. Not only in 2 pieces, but in 3. 3 small pieces within the city's annexation boundaries and the immediately surrounding area. I have 3 family members. This is not in the letter. I have 3 family members, multiple family members in Blanding. 3 of my sisters all vote in different districts. 2 of the districts within city limits have approximately 1,500 to 2,000 residents, while the third has another 1,000 residents of the unincorporated area of our community. Each of these small pieces represents a small minority of each district, effectively eliminating the voice of our voters in choosing or influencing the commissioners. This was evidenced by the fact that none of those eventually elected did any campaigning in Blanding. Our votes simply didn't matter. The division of Blanding into three pieces was not mathematically required. According to the special master who drew the districts, the ideal school board district population was 2,582, and the ideal county commission district was 4,915. Blanding's population, including the unincorporated area, was approximately 4,300 to 4,500. Therefore, although dividing Blanding into 2 of the 5 school board districts was a mathematical requirement, dividing Blanding into 3 or even 2 of the county commission districts was not required. This decision was political, a violation of one person, one vote, and not in harmony with the principles of good government. As the elected officials of Blanding City feel deeply responsible for those residents in the surrounding area, the mayor and city council of Blanding request that our community be respected and preserved on equal terms with every other community of interest in San Juan County by having Blanding City redistricted as one community of interest. This was signed by the mayor and all 5 council members in Blanding City. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Let me just suggest this, Cheryl. We're looking at maps that Mr. Cooper's prepared. If Blanding City Council wanted to present a map to the county commission, I think it'd be appropriate before we actually make that. So we understand, and we've seen this letter a number of times, but we haven't really seen a suggestion on a map that would divide the county into 3 districts. And I think that might be helpful if you could maybe look at preparing something like that.
You bet. That
Okay.
would be great. And do you have a time frame? When you
Mac, what's
So our next commission meeting, this has to be all finalized
Okay.
before January, and we have 2 meetings in December. But this next meeting here in the middle of this month, it'd be nice to have that information. So you're looking at 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay. All right. We will.
not
Our
much
next
time, but
Yeah, our next
Appreciate it.
meeting is
sorry I
the
didn't think of it quicker.
16th.
No, it's a great idea. Thank you. We will submit that.
Thanks, Cheryl. Okay, not seeing anybody else here in the room that signed up to make a public comment. I'll go to online now. Let's see, the first one that looks like I've got their hand raised is Logan Monson, Mr. Mayor-elect. Mr. Monson, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. First, I just want to thank everyone for letting us be here to make comments. I think it's an important part of the meeting. I'll just echo a little bit of kind of what's been said and then kind of point out some other things that are important to me. First, I want to be clear that as an elected official, I find the editorial letter to be misleading. It misrepresents both Blanding and Monticello's as community and as elected officials. It's been mentioned that we have sent letters and resolutions in opposing this very thing. So I think it's pretty clear where we stand on that as communities. And then to address the redistricting, and I appreciate Bruce's recommendation of us being able to make that recommendation and turn a map in that we think would benefit us and the other communities. I think that we are not here to the loudest voice and say that our voice matters the most. I think we're just here saying we want to be heard, be on equal playing fields. And the reason I bring that up is because in the last meeting, it was mentioned that when planning the redistricting, that the chapter houses should not be divided. And they are very distinctly mapped out on the map that's been in the packet. So all of the chapter houses are divided into where their chapter house limits are, but none of the city limits are put in there as well. So Blanding, Monticello, Bluff. I just hope that you'll consider that when doing that. And I hope that we can work together as far as coming up with a map to send your direction as well and make it work for everyone. I appreciate you letting me comment. And That's it. Thanks.
Mac stepped out. Logan, I'll thank you for making
Okay.
your comment.
I was like, I can keep talking if I need to. I don't mind.
No, he's back. Logan's done, Mac.
Time's up.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Logan. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody else with their hand raised. Looks like I've got a Mr. Gorman raising his hand. Okay, Mr. Gorman. Our meeting. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Mac. I did receive your email, Mr. McDonald, this morning regarding this meeting and the open opportunity for public comment. My name is Leonard Gorman. I'm the director of the Navajo Nation Human Rights Commission, and we find ourselves in the same room again after 10 years of a period where the redistricting was an issue back in 2011. And we went through a series of activities since 2011 and arriving at I think what's referred to as the ordered plan for the school board and also the commission. We're back to the same stage again, and we're very hopeful and honored to participate in the 2021 redistricting activities again. My office, the Office of Navajo Nation Human Rights Commission, is specifically detailed by the Navajo Nation government to represent the Navajo people regarding the redistricting activities in Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. So my office is very, very busy at the moment going through all these series of meetings. I just simply want to have our office be engaged in this discussion, and that we will be examining the maps that are being published at the moment. And thank you for sharing all of that information with our office, and that we will be assessing the current iterations and where we find it necessary to provide additional comments, additional tweaks where necessary. We will be utilizing that opportunity. And of course, one of the key factors in this redistricting activities across the country is the Voting Rights Act of the United States that was passed from 1965. And we realize that there's been changes made in the past couple of decades to the VRA, as we refer to. Nonetheless, there's still the Section 2 aspects of the VRA that need to be complied with. And I think while we didn't go through the exercise of assessing the current plans under the Section 2 of VRA, I think it really still is a law of the land, and that we will continue to foster ways that we can devise maps that do comply with the VRA. So we will be forwarding maps, iterations that we believe are in the characterization of complying with the VRA. So thank you very much, and thank you, Mac, for allowing us the opportunity to make comments and make recommendations. And we look forward to further engagements with the commission as we go through the process of adopting new maps. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, Leonard. Okay, next on the list looks like Bailey. Got a notification. Are you able to unmute yourself?
I am. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
Mayor-elect, go ahead, take it away.
So I'm Bailey Hedgeland. I currently serve on the Monticello City Council as well as incoming mayor. I am also speaking on agenda item 10. If you look over the list of the signatures that are currently on that letter, it is quite fascinating that most of those are coming from communities with much larger tax bases, such as Aspen Lake Tahoe, Moab, and Telluride. They're wealthier communities with coffers much larger than Monticello's. For them adding their names and titles, there's no real consequences attached. Multiple articles can be found online outlining negative effects on the environment because of increased tourism that's played out in Lake Tahoe. And despite this, their elected leaders have found time to increase the same negative effects on our small Utah communities over 800 miles away. While the monument is a reality, the ripple effects on our community is becoming a harsher reality. The reasons around other San Juan County communities not necessarily supporting the monument, I think, run a lot deeper than the media portrays. Like Councilwoman Henderson says, just for instance, garbage, the city of Monticello has had to address this increased garbage from the increased visitation, and we need more mitigation. California is currently the only state I'm aware of with a human feces map. And while those in California have signed this letter and they may be okay with things like feces and garbage piling up in our regions, we in Monticello are not. And one point of interest in this letter is the acknowledgement of the shouldering of the burden of added infrastructure needs to these communities. But it offers no solutions other than sticking their hand out to the federal government and placing the accountability once again onto the American taxpayer, but offering absolutely no actionable solutions. So I'm just asking that before you place your signatures on this letter, I hope that you guys, have some solutions, or at least the desire to discuss and create the solutions for those such as Monticello and Blanding in our small communities that are feeling the effects of this letter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands raised on here. Is there anybody else wanting to unmute themselves and make a public comment that hasn't already? Okay, commissioners, I'm not seeing anyone else. So, Commissioner Grais, I turn it back to you. That's the end of our public comments for this meeting.
We'll go ahead and go to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
Second?
Okay. We'll go ahead and, there's no comment or on the motion. Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Three in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you for that, Commissioners. The next item on your agenda under recognitions, presentations, and informational items, you have a presentation of just consideration and direction to William Cooper and the San Juan County redistricting map option for county commission voting districts and school board member voting districts. We do have Bill online. Bill, are you there? I'd seen that there was some difficulty connecting your audio, so hopefully you can hear me. I can see you're signed on.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So, Bill, how do you want to do this? I've got on here your maps, and I have them in sequential order. Let me get to them and show you those so that you can instruct me how you want to present this. Looks like first one, I don't know if you want to just go over your memo, kind of explain what you did, how we got here, kind of how you derived what you're proposing on this first map, and then we can go through your presentation. So I can either turn presentation over to you in your computer if you want to go through your maps, or I can scroll through them for you if you just tell me what you want to look at.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we could start with just scrolling through maybe with the commission. Yeah, the first exhibit, exhibit A1, shows a map of the, well, that may not be exhibit A1, but this is a map of what would be the option A for county commission after modifying the districts just a little bit to get the deviation or the one person, one vote by district into compliance. In other words, it has to be under plus or minus 5%. Now, here's where it gets confusing, and I have to apologize for this. This map shows areas that are changed in the option A map, but it's actually overlaying the current plan. So it's a little confusing, but you can see that most of the changes I've made have been in Blanding, just because it's the center of the county, and so it was easy to shift a few blocks around to ultimately balance out the districts a little bit better. And I have managed to get the deviation in the 3 districts down to just a handful of people, essentially the same kind of a deviation that Judge Shelby had.
Are you still there? He looks frozen in the video, so he may be logged off. There's a question if these are available anywhere, we should have them online on our website. The packet is on our website as well, so. On here, if you look at the legend, he's got the cross hatch, and so you can kind of see which areas he's specifically changing in the districts. Welcome, Alex. It's your turn to present. Well, hopefully Mr. Cooper pops in.
Lunch. Let's just stand lunch. Yep.
Thanks, Henry. Sing us a song.
Huh? Did you cut him off?
No. Something happened though.
I think he was rooting for the U.
Exactly. He's like, I gotta go sign that next All-Star. So if you go to our agenda meetings, there's all of our board packets are now on under the agenda and meetings tab of the commission. It's like 128 pages, and so to download that thing might be a little difficult. Are you having trouble seeing it on their monitors? I can blow it up, make it a little bit bigger if that helps any. No, that's fine. Just let me know how big you need to go. Yes, yeah, I understand that. I don't know where Mr. Cooper is.
While we're waiting for Mr. Cooper, I'd like to take this time to congratulate Logan Monson, Bailey Hedgeland, and Cheryl Bowers for winning their elections yesterday.
Awesome.
Those are the only ones I know because Elaine didn't tell me who won the. Oh, Joette Langanese in Moab.
The council was too close to call her.
Okay.
Because we had ranked voting
Oh, okay.
this time around.
That'll mess things up, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, we've taken a page out of New York City's.
New York City.
Don't ever do ranked choice voting, Lyman.
People are confused. Oh, now here's maps. Okay.
Hey, Mac.
He's out of the room. What do you need, Kenneth?
I was going to ask him if he contacted Cooper to see if he knows that he's been dropped.
Yeah, we know he's been dropped.
Okay.
We think he's in White Rocks, so we can't hear him.
It could be.
You know there's no coverage down there, don't you, Kenneth?
Nope. None at all.
Yep.
If there was, I would be talking to you guys.
That's right.
I wonder if it'd be a problem if Mac would direct Cooper to post those maps on clerk's election webpage.
So they're currently on our website now. They're just having a hard time figuring out where the link is, and we had mentioned they're there somewhere. Hey Lyman, can you pull that window? There's a Google window on your computer over there on that screen. You can push it over my way. It won't let you. Okay, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. We were just missing a window. Well, commissioners, I cannot get Mr. Cooper online, and his phone is pulling on busy. Here's Anne Marie. She'll be able to show you where it's at on our website. Anne Marie, you should be able to share that screen.
She connected? She can't control our screen. Pull it over. It's on the screen. She can't see so.
And then go to the San Juan County's website. And scroll down. So you can find it in the commission meeting in that packet there. Go to the front page. It should also be on the front page. Scroll down. Arrow over. Is this where you have it?
It will not pull up on there for me.
So it doesn't pull up on there? So it's just in the packet?
No, it's there, but I don't have the option to put a comment in Zoom. So I was just gonna link directly to it.
Yeah, so with Mac, if you click the packet one, that's what I did. It pulled it.
Okay.
Yeah, it pulls up in the packet and you just have to click on number 6 and it'll take you right to it.
Does that help any, Cheryl? Working from a phone is probably just as hard.
I can see it now, so I'll know what he's referring to. So
Okay.
I was able to open it.
Okay, perfect.
What page
Public
is it?
notice. Thank you.
Should we go to another item until he
I
gets
would.
back?
I can't get him. It's like he's not popping back online. So, and his phone is just goes to a busy tone.
It's a seismic shift in Virginia last night.
Something happened. I don't know. Yeah, but I would, commissioners, recommend we just proceed with the agenda, and then when he comes back on, we can go back.
I just had an aftershock.
Something happened. That's weird. You okay with that, Commissioner Gray Eyes? Proceeding on to item number 7 under business action item.
Come back to this one.
Then we'll
Yeah.
come back to Mr.
Go
Cooper.
ahead.
All right. This one here, item number 7 under our business action items is
It's me.
Tammy with a consideration and approval of a hazard mitigation grant program match letter.
So the letter is in your packet. This letter is a match letter for the HMGP program, Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. It has been identified for us due to the Pack Creek fire having the fire management assistance grant that it came in. It was designated an FMAG is what they call it. This grant does have in-kind, and it can be county funding or match. I think the majority of what we'll see is match. That could be road department, labor, equipment. What we're looking at doing is getting an engineer to help us design a catchment basin at the bottom of County Road B1651, which is called the Cutoff Road.
All you're seeking is a signature on the letter.
That's all I'm seeking is a signature.
I make a
on the letter.
motion that we have the commission chairman sign the letter for the HMGP project application.
Mr. Maryboy, did you hear that? Motion made. Are you still online?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. You want to motion it or, second it? Mr. Adam, motion to approve item number 7.
I'm trying to find number 7. What's number 7?
It's a grant match funding requirement for emergency
Okay.
Hazard mitigation grant program. Page 68 of your packet.
Page 68 of your packet, John.
I only have the agenda. I can't open the other packets. It's opening up.
Yeah. So it's number 7 on your agenda.
Would you like me to readdress what it is for his approval?
See here.
Kenneth, it's a letter requesting funds for the Pack Creek fire from FEMA. We put up 25% of the funds in kind. Now we want FEMA to reimburse for the rest of the money to deal with the fire.
Okay. Well, I'll second that. That makes sense.
Okay. Mr. Adam, motion, second by Mr. Maryboy. Any further comment? None? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye also. Opposed, nay? None. 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Thanks, Tammy.
Number 8.
Consideration and approval of the Green Our Planet Hydroponics Grant. This one is by Nicole. Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, this is just a memorandum of understanding between the libraries, Monticello and Blanding Libraries, with the Green Our Planet. It's the creators of the America's largest school garden program. And basically what it is they will furnish all that we need to start a hydroponic garden here in both the Blanding and the Monticello branch. And all the funding will come from the state library. They will cover the cost for one growing season. And then if we choose to continue, there's no obligation to, but if we choose to continue to do this project, it will cost each library between $100 and $150. The agreement that we have as libraries is that we will implement some STEM or STEM programming, educational programming with our target audience being the elementary age school children. And I'm just seeking your approval to have the commissioner sign this so that we can go to the next step.
Do I hear a motion for the approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Adam, motion. Second by Mr. Maryboy. Any question? Further comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed, 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
9.
Okay, consideration and approval of a contract between San Juan County and Mom's Mills.
You got me again. I am seeking a contract with Mom's Mills. This would help us when we are short-staffed at our senior centers. They will drop ship the meals to each client's home. at the cost of $8.99 a mil, which is about what we're running for doing one currently in the center.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Any second?
Second, I was mute.
Okay. Any further comment? If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay. Motion passed, 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Next,
Okay, item number 10 is consideration, approval, or suggestions for the opinion editorial on Bears Ears National Monument. I don't know, Commissioner Maryboy, if you have anything else you want to add on this. The op-ed is kind of straightforward and has been commented on, and looks like there was some comments that had requested some refinement on some of the elected official numbers, but just let me know, how do you want to proceed?
Thank you very much, Mr. McDonald. I think the letter is straightforward, and I would ask to Commissioner for the utmost considerable consideration.
Mr. Adams?
I think this letter is significant enough, and I would make a recommendation we table it until we can have public hearings from the public, especially from Blanding and Monticello and any others that want to comment on it before we move forward with support.
So there's a motion made
Mr.
by,
Chair.
do I hear a second? Mr. Maryboy?
Thank you very much, sir. I think the letter and the opinion is already out. As a matter of fact, I think it's at the chapters now for consideration to support, and it is supporting. And I would suggest to move on with the letter as it is. Motion.
So, table motion was made by Mr. Bruce Adams, no second. Mr. Maryboy, motion to approve the letter.
Yes.
Is there a second? My comment would be, since we already submitted the letters from the county, expression of appreciation to, I think that suffice. This probably be sort of like a duplicate, as indicated. Many outsiders are also sign on to this op-ed. So with that, there's a motion made by Kenneth, and there's no second. So it does fail also. And it's lunchtime.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My comment would be the same. I did respond to the letter saying that I will not sign on to any supporting letter without the two commissioners, and we have already submitted the letter is my response to that letter. So either way, it's fine with me.
Thank you. Next.
Okay, next
So
item.
it both fails.
Yeah, that
Both
one.
motions failed. So going on to the next, number 11.
Consideration and approval of purchase of Meals on Wheels vehicle. Sorry, Terry.
You get
for
me
the
again.
spacing.
It's okay. Keeps me getting up and down.
Takes four times.
4 times. And then once more for
Yeah.
budget hearing, right?
You're working on the third one now.
Yes. So I have before you consideration and approval for purchase of a Meals on Wheels vehicle. This vehicle does hot and cold. It is through a grant from Southeastern Utah Association of Local Governments, and they will cover the full funding of this vehicle. I have 3 bids in the packet, and I'm requesting that we go with the one from Ken Garf Ford in the amount of $52,507.94. They were the cheapest.
Cheapest.
Yes.
Motion.
The lowest price.
Lowest
Second.
priced.
Not the cheapest
Lowest price. Correction.
Motion by Mr. Barry Boy. Do I hear a second?
Yes, second.
Mr. Adams, second. Any further comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
And the last thing I have in front of you is consideration and approval. I don't have a signature line yet for the DASH grant, but it is called a Data Across Sectors for Health. I've been working with a company called Monami since January of this year, and we've been working on workflow and database systems. This grant would allow us to work with our healthcare partners within the county and possibly across the state to provide referrals and information back and forth on shared clients. It would be HIPAA compliant, so there would be no concern of leaked data, but it would also help with workflow with center directors and case managers. There wouldn't be a constant repeat of demographics being input into 5 or 6 different programs.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Adams.
Second.
Here's Kenneth, second. Any further comment? Question? There be none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Number 13.
Okay, item 13, consideration and approval of a notice of award and intent to negotiate a contract with the Appraisers, Inc. to perform appraisal services in San Juan County. Basically, on this, we had issued a request for proposal for an appraisal company to come in and evaluate our commercial properties, commercial parcels that are on our tax rolls, and update and provide us a current valuation that would be used for tax purposes. And so as we put this proposal out, there was two companies that responded to our request for proposal. One company in its response was really non-responsive to the proposal. In the proposal, there are specifics that we requested. For example, we request 5 proposals to be submitted, 4 hard copies, 1 digital, as well as kind of a pricing structure in that proposal. They had submitted kind of a sealed single copy proposal in an envelope, so that we kind of classified that as non-responsive to the requirements of the proposal. Nevertheless, we did look at it and just kind of evaluate it. The difference between the 2 proposals, the one that we're asking you to make a motion and accept as a responsive proposal is the cost on there is around $67,000 to contract with for the service. The other entity who submitted the other proposal that was a little that non-responsive, they were up into $600,000 to perform this service, well over what we feel that we would be able to make a return on this type of an investment. So due to that, we are requesting today that you authorize the notice of award and intent to negotiate on this contract with the Appraisers, Inc. This also begins the appeal period for anyone wishing to appeal this request for proposal process and acceptance of this entity.
Motion to approve. Did you want a motion, Kenneth? I'll second.
Okay.
Kenneth motion, I second.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Maryboy, second by Mr. Adams. Any further question? So there being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Aye.
Aye also. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next.
Okay, let's go back, Commissioner. We do have Mr. Cooper. He's been able to sign back on. Let's go ahead. If we can go backwards, and we'll continue back to his presentation.
I'm a kangaroo, so I can't back up.
Hello, everyone. I regret that internet failure happened. It was unusually long, but I'm back. What I was trying to explain before I lost the connection was that, as I explained in a previous meeting, the plan is malapportioned, the commission plan, and especially the school board plan. So the idea is just to kind of get the districts back closer to perfect population deviation. And so that's what I've attempted to do in the plan that I've drafted for the school board as well as the commission. And I can briefly, the map we're looking at, the shaded area, what we're looking at is actually the current plan, and the shaded areas are parts of the current plan that are changed and put into another district. And I sort of failed to explain that properly in my memo. So the only map I have in the original packet that was sent last week is the zoomed out county map. And so if you look at the zoomed out county map, you can see what the option A school board plan looks like, where I attempted to balance out population, mainly in Blanding, but in both plans, there's also areas outside of Blanding that were shifted. We're looking at the school board plan now, but in the commission plan, because District 2 was overpopulated and District 3 was underpopulated, I shifted White Mesa from 2 into 3. Is it possible to bring up the commission plan instead of the school board plan?
I thought I clicked on that. This one right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So the changes were in Blanding and a little bit south of Blanding around White Mesa, which was shifted into District 3. I did not make any changes at all in any of the chapters, just in areas outside of the chapter boundaries. As you may recall, some of you anyway, the testimony in the voting rights trial back in 2018 was fairly clear to the judge that the chapters should stay intact if at all possible. And it is possible to keep them intact in the commission plan because they're just 3 districts. In the school board plan, even in the plan that was adopted and ordered into place by the judge, a NEF chapter is actually split. And in the plan that I've developed, I actually increased the population in District 3 a little bit by borrowing additional population from a NEF. And as you can see, Mexican Water and Red Mesa are also split in the school board plan. With 5 districts, it just becomes a little more problematic to keep all the chapters, each chapter in a single district, and at the same time comply with one person, one vote. So with the school board plan that you're looking at, District 4 was the most underpopulated, and District 5 was the most overpopulated. So to balance things out, again, I had to make some shifts in the town of Blanding and also shift population into District 3, and then in turn shift some of that back into District 4 to get the districts more or less close to one person, one vote, perfect deviation, which is what the judge had ordered in the 2018 ruling.
Are these the shifts right here, Mr. Cooper?
These are the shifts showing the general areas, the areas that were shifted to create option A from the current plan. But what you're looking at here is actually the current plan, not option A. That's where I create confusion. And I can generate some additional maps that would do the same thing, except show the school board option A and the shifted areas. To clarify things, maybe I'll get you some more maps for a new packet, Mac, and I apologize for that confusion. But the numbers in the plan do not change. I haven't. I mean, the numbers that I sent with the packet last week are the same, and all the numerical exhibits are okay. It's just these zoomed-in maps are a little bit misleading in terms of what was shifted. I mean, it's correct in terms of what was shifted, but you're actually looking at the current plan, not option A.
Tell me which one I need to go to help.
Getting some feedback from you guys in terms of whether I should be producing new plans, or if you see things that you would want to specifically change about this plan, which would require then a new plan. So there are different options and different ways you could modify Blanding. My effort here was to try to minimize the population affected in this new plan. So for the commission plan, I was able to only shift about a little bit over under 4%, 3.9% of the total population in the county was actually shifted from one district to another. So that's a very tiny number. With the school board plan, the number of persons shifted went up to 7%, just because there's a higher deviation, and the ripple effect of changing the districts meant that some people had to be moved who weren't otherwise in a district amount of portion. So that had a bigger impact on the countywide population, such that 7% of the population would be shifted, and slightly lower number, of course, for the voting age. And again, most of the splits are in Blanding in terms of the impacted population. The primary area outside of Blanding that is actually part of a named community, a community's name that I can't really pronounce very well at all. It is TZ. Maybe one of the commissioners can pronounce it for me. It has a population of, I think, around 150 people or so. But that was shifted. You got it right. No puedo hablar Navajo. I speak second-rate Spanish, but this may seem very complex, but I tried to make it as simple as possible. And in the end, I think there will be fewer ballots that would have unique combinations in Blanding. I tried to kind of line up the school board changes with the commission lines. So the complexity of the plan in Blanding and elsewhere in the county will be a little less problematic. But that's not really problematic. This is very common in just about any redistricting plan to have changes and have overlapping districts, school boards with commission. It's always easier if you have the same number of school board members and commission members, because then those plans can look alike. But here because of that, we have to change things, and that has a bigger impact on individuals some of whom would have not shifted in the commission plan, but will shift in the school board plan. So I'm open to suggestions. It's occurred to me that maybe I could put this plan onto a website called Dave's Redistrict, which would allow people to actually look at it and zoom in and zoom out, and look at streets and look at communities and see what you think about it. On your own time. It's an interesting website that a lot of people are using nowadays, and it does allow just about anybody to go in and take a look at a map. It may take a little bit of time to get used to the various commands, zoom in, zoom out, and that sort of thing. But it's one possibility to look at something beyond just the PDF maps that I can send, and I can run off lots of them if need be, in terms of different looking at different communities or different parts of the county. So if it's okay with you folks, maybe I will try that and see if that would be helpful, showing option A and maybe just overlaying the existing school board boundaries in red line or something, so people can get a better feel than just these static these static shaded maps that I've produced. They could be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, you lost me.
It was my intention not to. I think I left all the incumbents in the same districts. If somehow or another I have not done that, that can certainly be corrected. And is this never mind. I did send Mac a map earlier, right before we got on the line, showing the commission plan, option A, rather than the overlay onto the existing plan.
Okay, yeah.
Did anyone have any questions or thoughts about whether I'm taking the right approach or not? I believe that because Judge Shelby's ruling was so close to the release of the 2020 census that it is appropriate to try to, get close to zero deviation. But there is some leeway there. You could have a somewhat higher deviation. Normally, the rule of thumb is somewhere within plus or minus 5% of the ideal population size. And as you can see in both the commission plan and the school board plan, I got very close to zero. The commission plan is almost perfectly zero, give or take 3 or 4 persons. The school board plan is a little bit off. And you're looking at the current school board plan there, where you can see that districts 5 and 4 are the 2 districts that are over 5%, and that triggers a need to have a redistricting.
At the same time, Mr. Cooper, public presentation, is that on your radar? I believe it's a requirement also.
Yes, I can do a presentation. It would be something like this, but perhaps with a little more detail in terms of the maps and certainly a complete set of option A maps, so everyone can see what it looks like.
Okay. So
and I can do other other plans if people have ideas. Again, I tried to make it as simple as I could to correct the deviation issues, but other communities could be moved around, or other streets in Blanding. It's not necessary to exactly follow the lines that I've drawn. This is just sort of an initial approach, which could easily be changed.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Cooper, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Yeah, this is Alex Gulp. I'm with the county attorney's office. I don't
Yes.
think I've had the pleasure of meeting you before. Just by way of providing some information, because I think you've touched on quite a bit of it, but it is something that the county attorney's office has been watching. First and foremost, this is a decision that the commission and only the commission can make. We've contracted with you to provide information to help them make that decision. But one of the major concerns that our office has, given the long litigation we recently went through, is making sure that our commissioners are picking from options rather than just being told this is the only option. So we would request, per the contract, that you give, we would prefer as many as 5 maps, but at least 3, so that the commission has the opportunity to look at different maps, different methodologies that you might have approved. You've touched on it, and I think you're absolutely accurate. There is a list of priorities and things that we have to adhere to. First, you can't move any commissioner from their existing district. They by law, they have to stay in their district. In order of priority, obviously, the one person, one vote takes the highest priority out of all the priorities and all the things we have to consider. The one person, one vote's the highest. After that, the one concern that we do have is, while there was witness testimony about trying to keep the chapters together, we would rather adhere to the actual order than testimony that was brought forward. So don't feel like if a witness stated something that the judge didn't put into his order that it's totally off limits. So please just refer to the order and make sure we're adhering to the judge's orders. Mostly because there were a lot of witnesses who said a lot of things, and the one that we have to live by is the judicial order itself.
Certainly.
And I think the only other thing, and you touched on this, and you're absolutely spot on, and it's in our state code as well. Any redistricting has to be, we're supposed to keep it to a minimum. You're not supposed to do wild redistricts, and it looks like you're trying very hard to adhere to that as well. But obviously that falls further down the priority list than keeping the commissioners in their existing districts, following one person, one vote, and making sure we're adhering to Judge Shelby's order. The only concern I have about a public statement about it being completely off limits to even look at the chapters being chopped up is that does create an appearance of race being the main basis, because chapters apply only to our native population. And so I don't want that to be discussed as a hard and fast rule. Obviously, it's one that in the order we want to adhere to what the judge ordered us in the order, but we would ask for options that explore the permeability inside those priorities, so that the commission can make a decision between those options. It would also give them the opportunity to put it out to the public to get a feel from the public which of the options the public might be more in favor of. Obviously, the commission can make their own decision, but it helps them make an informed decision as well. And we're hopeful with all of those considerations to avoid a new lawsuit.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
So,
Well, speaking to the
comment regarding the public meetings to review these, maybe Mr. McDonald can work on a schedule with you to come out with those locations and announcements.
Yeah, we can place that on our next commission meeting agenda and have a public hearing for that as well. It'd be nice to get some alternatives, some of the different maps where we can, and I like your recommendation on the Dave's website piece. If we can get that up and running so that we can push that out to citizens so they can have time to review it. I don't know for you commissioners, for me, it was a little bit confusing. And I don't know if it was just presentation order. But it'd be nice to look at, and hopefully Dave's right, is that website is that solution where we can look at different layers and see really what the effect of these changes, especially in blinding, what parcels, what streets are in effect, so that we can actually drill down, and then with the other maps also look at those areas that are affected with these districts recommendations.
Yes, the Dave's redistricting site allows you to go all the way down to the census block level, and you can query the blocks to see what the population is in each block. And you can upload. You can even upload your own plan, for that matter, and overlay it onto something that I've drawn. So there are lots of options. I guess it requires a little bit of facility with online mapping software, but it's not that complicated just to basically look at the map. It's essentially like a Google map. And that's another option. I can put these plans into an address searchable Google map. That's a little bit different, maybe a little bit easier for some people to use. So we might try that, or at least do it with the final plan, because then it'll be something that one can access very quickly from a cell phone and see exactly where you are in a particular district. I've used that in other situations in recent, well, I should say in the past couple of years. Previously, before that, it was not really a viable option just due to slow internet, and Google Maps just didn't have the advancements that it's had in the past couple of years that would allow for that as a viable option. But now it really is. But at the outset, I think Dave's redistricting website is better because it's got, you've already got built-in census blocks and precinct lines, and you can even put in town lines, that sort of thing. And I'll upload the chapter lines as well. So I'll do that in the next few days and send the link to Mac so that people could start looking at this plan while I develop one of the other plans that another plan that might be of interest. Maybe I'm not going to come up with 5 right away. I mean, there could be variations that would be minor, but for starters, maybe I'll just do a couple more and then get some more feedback as to which direction people might want to go in terms of how it might be changed further. Ideally, though, we would move as few people as we have to, just because it's easier for the voters if they don't have to change after only being in a plan, the 2018 plan, for a couple of years. Another shift gets a little annoying, I suppose, for some people.
Perfect.
Okay.
Any other direction or recommendations? Lyman,
Has anyone seen anything with this plan that don't like? Because that would guide me to something I could do with the next option.
Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman, can I just make a quick point that why it's important to do public comment?
do you want to come up to the microphone?
Oh, yeah.
Might as well get it on the record. Thanks, Cheryl.
Kim's telling me evenings for the public hearing or public meetings. So evenings would be great. But just a really quick point, he's moved White Mesa to a southern district for the school boards. And part of the reason White Mesa has always been in Blanding is because they attend Blanding schools. So you take that vote away from the location of where they live and where they vote and where their students go to school is Blanding. And you've just moved them to the southern schools, which is Montezuma Creek, but most of them do go to Blanding. So that's just a reason to allow public comment, and a good for the gentleman who's on here with us to know as well.
And I appreciate that comment. I will be careful about moving White Mesa. However, White Mesa was moved for the county commission, but it actually stays in District 5 for the school board. I believe it's District 5, maybe it's District 2. I'm not looking at the map. But it did not move. It did not move in the school board plan.
Oh, okay. So I just misunderstood. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I moved the other community that Chairman Gray Eyes or somebody will have to pronounce for me. I moved that one in the school board plan. It's not a very large.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that'll cost you. Interpretation.
Yeah, I just can't get it. I chose that because it's not actually part of a chapter, correct?
It's partially in Arizona and Utah.
So, well, yeah, but the community, the smaller, it's the community that I'm thinking about that has about 150 people is sort of close to Blanding, and it's not part of the it's not within a chapter according to the boundary lines that I'm relying on.
Yeah, the Westwater community.
Next to Blanding.
Well, it's actually south, but it's before you get to any of the chapter boundaries. It's a little bit east of Aneth, and before you get to Red Mesa and some of the and Mexican Water. But it's right along the highway there, right along 197 or 191. No, White Mesa is north of that. Here, let me. I will spell it out. If I
White Rocks. Block.
It's TSELAKAIDEZZA.
Do you know where that is, Commissioner Maryboy? I don't know.
It's identified.
Spell it again,
TES?
Mr. Cooper.
TSELAKAI. And the next word is DEZZA. It's identified by the Census Bureau as a community. And I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think there are about 175 people or so there. And those were people that I shifted out of that I shifted out of District 5 and put into District 3, because District 5 is overpopulated. But I did not move White Mesa, and I will make a point of not moving White Mesa for the school board based on the information I just heard for any of the future plans.
It's supposed to be White Point Rock.
Yeah, White
Right.
Rocks right there.
Sessica is
Oh, it's also known as White Rocks.
Yeah, that's where.
Yeah. Now White Mesa. We're looking at the map of White Mesa, and you can see that in
White Rocks is right here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Sessica.
that's White Rocks.
It's supposed to be good.
White Rock
Instead
is
of
right
J, it's supposed to be K. And this, there's D-I-Z-I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just misspelled on.
Yeah.
In the census.
Sessica is
Kenneth.
No.
Sessica is Ila. It's misspelled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get the right spelling here.
Is that the area
Should
right there
already
on the
be
crosshatch? Right here.
It's we're looking at the commission plan, so I'm not sure. That area is not it would be, if you had the if you had the school board plan, I could identify it.
Tell me which one.
Hey, Bill.
I didn't see anything there.
Yeah.
The correct spelling is capital T SELAKAI hyphen DEZZA.
Yes, that's it. That is exactly it, and that is now in. That is in option A. I've placed it in District 3. And the Zoom maps that I sent would actually show the number of persons in that area who were shifted. If you scroll through, I think we'll see it in a second. We're still looking at Blanding, but there should be a.
Here's the Aneth.
That's it right there.
That's what I thought, but he said no.
No, I'm sorry, that's not it. That's the portion of the nest that I shifted. This is it right here.
All of a sudden it went water. Okay, blue.
Yeah. That's good.
However, to clarify, I've sent you the corrected maps. So what happens here really is that I shifted it from D5 into D3, and we're looking at the current plan. So that area is going to be would be under option A, the new District 3. We're looking at the current plan where it's in District 5. That's why I was apologizing for the confusion, because we're actually looking at a map of the current plan with the shaded areas showing the population that's going to be shifted into D3. So we have a double error in this map. It says from D3 to D5, but in the new plan, it's going, or in the option A plan, it's going from D5 into D3. Or, but that's just one possibility. And I took the whole area that was identified by the Census Bureau as being a community, and I'm wrong. It was a population of nearly over 200 people. And in fact, D3 really didn't need or doesn't need any additional population, but the only way to get the overpopulation in District 5 into District 4, which is on the other side of District 3 in the school board plan, I had to shift some population into District 3. Because District 5 doesn't really go into the city and the town of Blanding, and I don't really intend to do any drafts that would put an additional piece of a district in Blanding. As it is now, there are 2 districts in Blanding for the school board, for the county commission, and 2 for the school board. And so that would be, I would try to maintain that within the city limits.
Mad dog. Any other question? If not, then we'll wait for the next scheduled presentation.
And before that, I will upload this option A into Dave's redistricting and send the link to Mac, and at least get 1 or 2 more plans on the table here in the next week.
All right. Good. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Okay. Sorry about the confusion and the delay, but we'll do better next time.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Cooper. Appreciate that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you.
Now fast forward to where are we? 14?
We need to have
Board of Equalization.
Motion to enter into that Board of Equalization.
Make a motion to enter into Board of Equalization.
We're back in session, Mr. Maryboy. Motion made by Bruce Adam for to
Second.
enter to Board of Equalization. I need a second.
I second that.
Okay. Now we're into number 14, property tax adjustment. Rick Myers.
Greg's up, looks like. Been handed the baton.
I'm Greg Adams. I'm going to substitute for Rick. Rick asked me to come present this. Every year there's people that don't ever open their mail to look at their tax notices until the real bill comes, and then they've got issues, and we have the option not to do anything because they've missed all the deadlines, but I have a sympathetic heart for the taxpayers and don't want to double tax them or not tax them at all. So these are all cases that we either missed or they missed. Anyway, there was problems with them. So I waited until about the end so that we could take care of them all at once. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through them. I'd be happy to go down and explain any that you have questions on. Like I said, most of them are improvements that were missed or dropped or changed, and the parcel numbers there, and then you have a sheet in your packet showing those parcel numbers and what it was and what it will be changed to. There was one I wanted to. Oh, the Patrick Fire on the second page of this listing, the first item. This lady had her house at the Strawbell house, and it got so hot that on your sealed windows it melted the seal and did some things that I don't know why she didn't bring that up to us, but she didn't. And as we looked at her case, the houses that were totally destroyed, by law, we reduced the value by 54%. And where this house looks like nothing happened, but it was a pretty serious damage. And so we made the decision to reduce that tax value by 27%. Any questions or issues? Oh, the other, at the bottom of page 2, this gentleman found some property down in the southern part of the county, and he had an attorney write up a quiet claim deed, and it was discovered later that this was property owned by the United States government, but were held in trust by Native Americans. And on these 5 parcels, these 5 Native Americans had passed on. They weren't alive, and so he thought he could get that land, but after research, it was found that this property still belongs to the government, and so they took it back. And we've been taxing it since he got the land, but we now need to take those taxes off because it is a United States government property. That one's a little unusual. We don't.
There's a tax rule in here for a VCH 3 LLC in PURBLA West, Colorado. Is that supposed to be Pueblo?
Probably, yes.
Not sure what PURBLA.
I'm sure that's where this is the BFE, right next to the BFE property out in Spanish Valley. I will look at that and look at the deed and stuff and get that fixed.
I guess by zip code you're sending it to the right people.
There are mistakes made, yes. No
Kinda
argument
like my
there.
phone. I put something in and it corrects it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Any questions?
We need to make a motion in or out of BOE?
In.
In?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the changes that have been presented today on the properties that are listed on the sheet that's been provided.
The motion to,
Second?
You second?
He
second, Mr. Maryboy. By Maryboy. Question, on this, trust land, the trust land, are you able to, collect tax on it?
To collect tax on these? What will happen
The
is...
trust land that you were talking about?
Oh, no, no,
Native-
it's owned by the United States government.
Yeah,
We can't collect taxes on any United States government property because of the ownership.
but you're taxing the,
We,
What?
what do you call it? There's encroachment. So,
that's totally by ownership is what, the way we tax it. Now, when the Native Americans owned it, it's just like Sitla land. It's owned by somebody, a tax-free entity, and we can't tax it. They had leased it to the Native Americans who were using it, and it wasn't taxed at that time either.
well, the history tells the, what did they call it? There's where you issue 160 acres per family, and they didn't pay tax.
Homestead.
They didn't pay tax, and state counties took over.
It was
Same situation.
Right. Everybody was a tax-free entity, so it wasn't taxed until this gentleman obtained title to it. We taxed him and he paid it for the years that it was in his name. Mr. Thomas Wigginton, who lives out in, I think, Flagstaff.
Tennessee.
Where?
Lives in Tennessee.
Tennessee, that's right. He lives in Tennessee. And so when it was titled in his name, yes, we taxed it. But once we realized that it's owned by a non-tax entity, then we can't tax it any longer.
So you're gonna pay him back, or?
No, I don't know that I have. If he
spent the
requests
money.
it, then I'm gonna have to go back to.
Donation.
We spent the money.
It was in Greenbelt, so it's not a huge amount of
Yes,
money.
sir.
It was trust land to the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. There was five members, 160 acres apiece. It all passed away. And
Yeah.
it was in Cross Canyon.
Yeah.
So we had, for some reason, he thought he could own it.
Yeah.
The federal judge said no, it doesn't own
All there is a great, big, tall sagebrush. Yeah. Any further question? So there's a motion. Second by Kenneth.
Yep.
And vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passed, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Exit. We need exit.
Need a motion to exit that.
Make a motion, we come out of BOE.
Second?
Okay. All right. No question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye also. Kenneth, how do you vote?
I'll
Out.
vote yes.
3 in favor,
Out.
0
Out.
opposed. We're out of equalization. Now, motion to go into executive session.
Executive session. Motion.
Motion. Okay.
What if I don't want to go into? What? Okay.
second it, it fails.
I'll second it.
For a lack of second.
It will fail. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. 3 opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. We are now